Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here, coming at you with another raw narrative. And it's so good to see all of you guys tonight. Thank you all so much for being here with me. And it looks like we have a good crowd in here tonight. So I'll just shout everybody out really quick. Thank you, Itchy Mama, for putting in the disclaimers. And also, we got Gail in the house. Hey, Gail, good to see you. And little Miss Sharon is here. Thank you so much for hitting the like button, guys. It really helps out so much. And thank you, little Miss Sharon. Um, so we're gonna do a part three tonight of Seth's live stream, and we've been going over it. I had a little unexpected turn that I wanted to add in last night. So it's something that we talk about a lot here because the corruption runs deep in Sumner County, and we were uncovering a lot of the CPS um, corruption and BS. 14 other cases. We heard about a class action lawsuit last night. So I'm still deep diving into some of that as well because I wanted to do a video and put it all together. But boy, is it a lot of information to put together. And guys, please share out these flyers that we have in the chat. Hello. Uh, Astrology for Mystics with Jen is here. Hey, Jen. Good to see you. Thank you so much for being here, Jen. I know it's late. I was going to try to do a live stream earlier. My daughter is going to see Harry Styles, and she's left the country to do that. So her flight was delayed, and I just, you guys know I don't fly. I don't like to fly. And then so when she told me that, I was like, oh gosh, then I was nervous, and I haven't stopped being nervous, just waiting for her to arrive safely there. So I'm glad they didn't like miss any connecting flights or anything like that. Good morning, Janet. So good to see you. Thank you for being here from South Africa. Hugs to you too. And Alicia Hot Wheels is here. I'm so glad you made it, Alicia. I'll tell you, I was supposed to do an early show, but again, it was just this month is working against me. I feel like anyway, I'm like, what is this? Sharon Marlowe, so good to see you. Thank you for being here. Hello, the real me too. Good to see you. And Cinderella is also here. Hey, Stephanie Williams. Good to see you guys. Welcome in. Love, Mama, love. So it's so good to see you guys. And yes, the real me too. I'm so glad you're here. So I want to go over this part three tonight, and I don't have a lot of twists and turns, but it's quite exciting this last stretch of the live, right? A lot of questions are answered. Now there is going to be another live stream with Seth tomorrow night, 7 Eastern time. So if you're Central time, it'd be 6. Let me make sure that I have that. I don't know why I hesitated on that. It must either I'm second guessing myself or it's not right. Um, ooh, sorry, I was listening to damn Gypsy Rose's prison calls. Isn't that terrible? All right. So where is Seth's? I was gonna share it out. Okay, upcoming 7 p.m. Yes. So 7 p.m. my time. And I see all you guys showing love in the chat. Aw, that is so awesome. So fantastic. So we got that going on tomorrow. So, I don't know if we'll do a live review right after. We might just do that, or I might do a little bit of a pivot to Summer Wells's case because there's still some more to go over in her case, and I owe you guys, a part two to that. So we're gonna do it like that, and I apologize again. It's just, these day lives are just, it's like they're never gonna happen, and I'm trying to work them in. So, um, just bear with me on that. So I want to get into tonight's live and where we left off last night. So this one is Sebastian is still lost, and this is Seth's video in his live stream. So we have Astrology for Mystics with Jen, our friend Jen, who's in the chat tonight, and then also Smiley. And so I shared out, which reminds me. Um, Smiley did a wonderful live. Tiki 2025 True Crime did a fantastic live on Sebastian. So, the more that we push awareness, the more that we get awareness out there about what was said, and we analyze statements, and we talk about, I mean, just the facts of the case. Like Smiley killed it, and I think she was like 50 minutes in, 50-minute live, and just, really hit a lot of key points in this case, really important things that people should be talking about, maybe, you know, pulling some of those topics and deep diving into them, things like that, because what we're dealing with here in Sebastian Rogers' case is a father of a missing boy from Sumner County, Tennessee, and he has had to fight tooth and nail to try to find his son. I mean, he's weathered through threats, he's weathered through, search teams being weird and getting so close to him and getting information and then running around and telling people. He's dealt with two of the biggest asshats I've ever heard of, in my opinion. You know, um, he's really been through the ringer, and he continues to press on, which is very inspiring, but it also is very sad to watch. A friend of ours, right? Seth is a friend of the channel, and he comes in and chats with us and things like that. It's very difficult to watch him go through this. It's absolutely heartbreaking to watch him go through it. And as he's being so brave to come out and talk about his missing son, um, because again, it can't be easy to be out here talking about these subjects, right? These are things that nobody really thought would ever be talked about publicly, and it just has to be extremely difficult. But I know that the goal is finding Sebastian, getting the case looked at from an investigative standpoint that people can be proud of, and people can say, okay, they definitely did everything to find Sebastian. They didn't leave any stones left unturned, as Sheriff Craddock promised. As DA Whitley, we're gonna find him. I'm gonna make it my business to find him. Whatever the quote was that he said. But yet here it is, 2.5 years later. Sebastian has not been found. There's an 18-month blackout period that we're looking at in Sebastian's case, where Seth has no communication about his missing son, and we know why now. Now that we've seen this filing, there's a lot of information in there that shows us exactly why they haven't found Sebastian yet, why they're no further to find, or excuse me, why they're no closer to finding him. It almost seems like they're further from finding him, doing nothing at this point. So yeah, me too. The real me too. I'm so glad that Seth is doing lives. Everybody loves to hear from him. Yeah, absolutely. And I also enjoy watching, Brandy Neal's lives, like Brandy Neal's lives, or Brandy Neal Vaughn, right? Michael Monkey Vaughn's mom. She does a great job of advocating. Again, it's so terrible to see people go through it like that, right? I mean, that idiot Stacey Wandra, his trial was moved up, to March of next year, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, if it's February or March of 2027. I mean, that we're talking about little kids here. We're talking about children who are on the spectrum. Monkey is not, but Sebastian is. Um, but Monkey is a young kid when he goes missing, right? And that's so sad. Um, it's unbelievable. So I don't understand how it's so blatantly obvious who's responsible for Sebastian not being at home with his daddy and LE is still doing nothing. Yeah, I mean, and that's the biggest problem, Alicia. It's really what it comes down to, in my opinion, is that they dropped the ball. They did a horrible job of pretending like they didn't have any knowledge of Sebastian. This is, oh gosh, the first time he's ever run away, this young autistic boy, oh, we're going to find him. We're going to get a fresh set of eyes on this. We're going to consult with the autism, specialists. Well, you had enough specialists. Sebastian himself had enough specialists that they could have just talked to those people and understood Sebastian. And, instead we get this little song and dance. Oh, we're looking at cave experts. He could have gotten so far. These other kids on the spectrum, boy, they have a high threshold, and God only knows how far he could have gotten, and all of this, right? I'm not saying that kids can't take off and make it far away without people knowing about it, right? I get that he could make it pretty far in a few hours. However, not without shoes on. So, hey Michelle, how come Ellie is getting away with behaving like this, in my opinion? Michelle, I really hope they're held accountable when it comes to these lawsuits. Like, that's what I'm really hoping for too. Other than getting a new investigation for Sebastian, is that they're going to be held accountable and people are going to know that they dropped the ball. It's very concerning that they were all involved in this. Not necessarily Sebastian's disappearance. I haven't gathered enough evidence to say that, but it does seem very fishy, doesn't it? Almost like they were aware that something was going to happen, like they were going to put Sebastian someplace. Just a thought. I mean, I held back for a long time on things like that, where I was like, oh, I can't say, he's that Craddock's involved, but he gets very jumpy, he gets very uppity, he gets very nervous. His whole demeanor changes, his facial features change. He starts blinking. The blink rate goes up. I mean, that man is nervous as all get out, in my opinion. And why? Why is he so nervous? Why is he's so uppity? He's not usually like that. He's a public speaker, by the way. Eric Craddock goes to colleges and speaks to a bunch of college kids. I don't know how many. Um, the point is he's no stranger to getting up there and talking, and he usually loves to talk. Hey, Christy Smith loves to talk until it's about Sebastian. Then he gets pissed. And Janet, I don't know. I've always thought that Chris Carr could be involved. I have always thought that, you know, at the back of my mind, there was a lot of talk about Katie and, this neighbor, getting it on. I don't care about that. I mean, honestly, it's none of my business who is banging who in the neighborhood. My business is trying to figure out what happened to Sebastian, where he is. Um, that's what I'm worried about most. So, but I mean, Janet, he's allegedly said things. I wish we had proof of those things. It's not that I don't believe it. It's just I can't get myself all the way there until I know and have proof of it. So that's it's difficult, but I wouldn't doubt it in this situation.
Learning how to tie knots, learning how to, use a whittle knife.
Oh, by the way, so there was a question asked. Um, and they're talking, what Seth is talking about here is Sebastian going away to a summer camp, and that would have been,
My
appropriate
parents, they
appropriate for him, because he went to summer camp. So I was talking, I'm going to say something too about it, and all of us were agreeing that it's a good situation for the kids to be able to get away for a couple of weeks, to be able to sharpen some skills on certain things that they're interested in, that sort of thing.
it's not that they said, but I was in scouts. So for the whole summer, I was up in the mountains doing mountain scout. You know, so learning the native plants, knowing what they can do. Learning how to tie knots, learning how to use a whittle knife, learning how to start fire. Learning how to cook over an open flame. You know, li- living in a bungalow with four other kids, five other kids. Singing "Kumbaya" at night while one of the camp counselors strumming on a guitar. So to me, when I'm looking at these places, I told the lady, I was like, it has to have animal therapy. They have to have horses. They have to have at least some type of faith based application, you know, because I believe in God. And, in the long run, God is your best friend. He's always there to listen. He may not say anything back, but he's always there to listen. And these were my resequents. You know, these are things that I wanted where he went.
So I think that what Seth is trying to say is they were his prerequisites, right? Like those are things that Seth was looking for and would have been happy to have Sebastian experience that. However, it's difficult when you have another set of parents on the other side, who you're co-parenting with, and they say, "Well, we want to send him to a Bloodsoe Youth Academy type place," when Seth is saying, I wanted there to be things that would, add value to Sebastian's life later on. Scouts is a great way to do that. But I think that's what he was saying. And we do know Seth, he's picky, and it's not, I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean that in a positive way. He's selective, he has standards. And hey, Jen, thank you so much for gifting a Lady Freedoms Raw Narratives membership. And if you got a membership, please thank Jen for that. And Jen, thank you so much. That's awesome. And oh gosh, it looks like the real me too got the membership. So awesome. The real me too. That is fantastic. Hey Jen, that's a lucky buy right there, because I'm glad to have the real me too. So awesome. And of course, if you want to join our Discord, just email me, because thanks to real me too. And thank you so much, Jen. That's so awesome. Um because we do have the link to Discord. I just try to keep it, nice and safe in there, because we know how people can get. Um, God always listens. God is love. God is good always. Yes, Janet, that's right. That's right. And the best thing that we can do too is always be praying, for protection for Sebastian, for him to return safe home to his father, that sort of thing. I have no doubt Seth is going to make a difference for missing kids. I'm so proud of him. Yeah, Seth does a lot of stuff behind the scenes. And he does a great job. He really cares, and again, just when you have a level of standards that you're wanting to hit, right, and not just anything goes. We do know that Bloodsoe Youth Academy it was under investigation because they had some boys come in from New Hampshire, and those boys endured horrible treatment. They were showed pornographic materials. They were told that their peers were told to jump them, right? Like it was okay. And the caregivers were saying, go ahead and jump that kid. He's a snitch. Those are the types of people that we were dealing with. That's where Katie and Chris wanted to send Sebastian. It was all over the news. So when we're looking at what happened here, it's very difficult for me to be okay with those decisions, in my opinion.
And Every place that it was, they wanted anywhere from 5 to 10 grand. I didn't know that Chris, Katie, like I understand that we're gonna have to work together to put him in one of these places for this. But to me, again, it was for the summer. I'm not thinking it's a big deal. Then they were talking about putting him when they told me what I was just like, no, you got to do your research on these places, and that's why when I spoke to the lady that helped me get all those, sent me the email, those were the places that she recommended. The kids liked it. Kids had good reviews for these places. That's who you really want to listen to, the kids, not not the people that work there, not you want to listen to how the kids feel afterwards, how they felt before, how they felt afterwards. Did they like the programs? Was there enough to keep them entertained? Did they learn anything? So I did not have a problem with him going somewhere for the summer. I mean, we were all kids at one point in time, except for maybe Smiley. But what child?
Stop.
What
I was
child?
laughing, but I was muted.
What child doesn't want to go away for the summer, away from their parents? I mean, to have that freedom is what I was looking at. The fact that I was looking at places where they're going to take care of my son. That his well being is top priority. And again, I was just thinking it was going to be for the summer. That's why these that I sent were all temporaries. They're 2-3 month programs. It's I was thinking maybe a little bit of freedom away from both me and his mom and Tennessee, and away from things that you know, and he could go be around people his own age and be. I mean, he loves animals. That's why they had to have animal therapy. Horses are great for animal therapy.
Oh yeah, I agree, and I think a lot of us did that. I had Girl Scout camp, cheer camp, volleyball camp. So I think a lot
Uh,
of us did that growing up.
I mean, it builds character.
Yes, absolutely. And horse therapy is great for autism. Be around any animals, great.
Not any animal, okay?
Well,
Camels
that's
spit,
true.
llamas bites, and ostriches will attack you too.
Well, and some people, animal, you definitely don't want to be around.
Hmm.
Just saying.
You got to watch out for grizzly bears and pumas, rattlesnakes. I don't think those are good animal therapy.
Oh yeah, a couple of people asked, was Sebastian on SS? Well, one said SSDI, another one was asking about disability checks. So I don't know if that's the same thing
I
or
believe
that.
that's the same thing. I have not heard back. I know that he had TennCare. I know that I get all the messages for that stuff now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I know that he was on it in California, but after the divorce, Katie told me that they took him off of it.
Hmm. Hey,
That the
Bluegrass
state took
Meadows.
him
Hey,
off of it, or
Shauna.
what
Good to see you
it was.
guys. Oh, because it didn't transfer. Hey, Lori. So, yeah, guys, there were a couple of questions about whether Sebastian was, receiving benefits of different types, but there was a couple of different questions about that. So, um, but yeah, so that was interesting. Um, I mean, I really don't. I'm kind of neutral either way. In the beginning, it probably would have mattered a little bit more. It might fit in later, depending on what we put together to
Well,
Tennessee.
Well,
No.
no, this was before moving to Tennessee. Um, what was told to me was, with me no longer being in the house, Katie made too much for Sebastian to be on SSID.
Oh.
That
I'm
hurt.
gonna beg. I'm gonna beg to differ, but that's just my opinion. SSI and SSDI is two different things, but I'm gonna
Okay.
beg to differ. That I had asked that earlier when I was in Justin's chat when I was rudely interrupted by Chris pulling me off that live,
Hmm.
and yeah, I think people were stunned and their mouth dropped to the floor when I asked that. I think that ruffled a few feathers when I said, "I hope you, I hope you stop his check." But anyway, yeah, and then by you saying he had 10 care, listen, I don't think he would get 10 care without getting some kind of assistance. But that's just my opinion and my opinion only. Um, but either
I
way,
do know that every time I tried to put insurance on him, Katie would throw a fit. Like, my insurance is pretty good. I work for the county.
yeah,
My insurance is pretty good, and they did not want me putting insurance on Sebastian. They said that it interrupted what he was receiving from the military and what he was receiving from the state.
yeah. And it don't matter. Sebastian deserved everything he could get. Listen, everything he could get.
Oh
My
I know.
yeah.
beef, yeah,
I'm
my beef
so sad
is,
they finally diagnosed him with autism so I could get
mhm,
ABA therapy for him. I was fighting
absolutely.
for that one the whole time we were in California, and I couldn't get a pediatrician or a therapist to even help me with that.
Do you think that's because it mirrors some of the symptoms of the chromosome deletion?
I
Do you
think the
think that may?
chromosomal deletion mirrors autistic traits.
Oh yeah. Okay. No, that makes sense.
Hey, Mr. E.
Is Mr. E in here? Well,
Yeah,
if
Mr.
it's
E
not,
is
Oh,
in
hi,
chat.
Mr.
Hey, Mr.
E.
E.
it's probably Mrs. E.
Or
Miss
Mrs.
E.
Hello,
E.
Mrs.
E,
E.
e
and
family.
Hello,
you family.
hello.
The E family is in the house.
Hello, Mr. and Mrs. E. My prayers still go out to y'all.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Choo Choo's mommy is asking, when did the status Title IV occur? And I know that's in the paperwork, but I think it's pretty. I mean, it's short, but it's lengthy. There's a lot in it.
Yeah, I'm. If the date is not in the filing, I'm not allowed to put that out.
Yeah, the exact date is not. I don't believe, like, not specifically. Uh, oh, Paula wants to know if people can come out to support the court date. I'm thinking they probably wouldn't let anybody in there, but that's just my
From
thought.
from my understanding, and I can contact my attorney and get it re-verified, but I don't think that is going to be open to the public. I believe that this November 12th thing is just literally judge, plaintiffs, and defendants.
Yeah, as far as I'm from what I read, it would be just like phone calls. Uh, but the jury trial, I think, is what they're talking about, maybe.
Oh
We don't,
yeah.
we don't know when that's
Or if
we
that's, yeah,
we've got a long way to go before we can get there.
yeah,
And
Oh,
I mean, that's our hope, is to get there. And the fact
right,
is that filing filing these lawsuits is to bring, for me, it's to bring awareness to what these agencies are doing.
right,
okay, guys, and we heard about that last night. That's why we are doing a three-part on this, is because there just is so much out there that supports in different circumstances and different people. It's not just Seth and Sebastian that have gone through this. right? But Seth taking a stand against it is going to prevent, hopefully, other people having to deal with that. And thank you so much, Lori, and all the real Me Too. I'm so sorry to hear that. We'll definitely pray for the ease. We always are at this channel. Oh my goodness. Um, do they still have the meal train? Because I would like to drop that link as well. Um, Hello, telling the truth. 111. Good to see you. Or actually, I think there's four ones. 1111. Good to see you. So it's okay, Bo. I'm dragging ass myself. Like I said, I'm just like so drained this week. this Yeah, the first 7 days of August has kicked my ass. Um, so no worries. But yeah, I would like to drop that if they still have it going. Um, I just can't imagine. Oh my goodness. And couldn't have happened to nicer people. Um, my gosh. Yeah,
I'm
because I
very
mean, people.
curious as to what exactly took place in the parent teacher conference between KP and CP that made the teacher feel uncomfortable.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
The parent teacher conference, what made the teacher feel so uncomfortable?
I have no idea. I mean, I talked to all the teachers.
My
During the
PTSD.
parent teacher conference is what they're talking about.
My PTSD. You're feeling me on that. Hey, I'm glad you're here. Oh gosh. Yeah, thank you, the real Me Too. However we can help over here, I would love to do that. Um, I'm still recovering from my travels here, but I will say, I want to make sure we can support the ease. And I know, they're always asking for prayers and things like that. But anything that can make things easier on them. Um, so yeah, it's been crazy. So right here, guys, this was another part that was kind of confusing. So it's difficult because, and this is just my opinion. Um, people hear things on other channels and then they think of it as factual, which, I mean, in this case, you know, I heard that Justin talked to the teacher, right? But Seth didn't see those emails, so he can't really say anything about it, right? Like he can't be like, yeah, the teacher did feel uncomfortable because Chris and Katie were in fact blaming things on me, and I believe that that's what was discussed in Justin's live, because I remember, um, you know, that being something that was said, to the effect of that. Um, but Seth wouldn't know exactly what's being talked about. Now, guys, that is a common theme, and I'm not trying to, get onto anybody or throw shade at people or anything like that. But, we're seeing a common theme of that happening where people are not, consulting with Seth about his son, and they're more willing to discuss that with a YouTuber, these school people, administrators, teachers, whoever was spoken to. And they were, giving out information to Justin, but Seth has never seen that information. So there's going to be a little bit of an awkwardness here coming up with this question because it's hard to answer if Seth hasn't seen this email that's being referred to, right? So again, a lot of these questions are really tough because they're not questions for Seth per se. If he never was given the email to look over or keep for his records, how would he know to answer and how to answer that question? Same goes for any questions speculating on Chris and Katie. I mean, those are questions that are going to be difficult for Seth to answer.
What made him feel so what made the teacher feel uncomfortable?
And where are they getting that information from?
I don't know.
Me either.
That was just a question that was asked to you.
I think it was in the emails in Justin's live, if I remember correctly. And sorry if I misspeak on that, but I think that's.
Girl, mom. True that.
I mean,
About the way Chris behaved at the parent teacher, because that's been a big thing. People talking about what he was, how he was acting in the parent teacher conference. That's been a lot of chatter.
well, we all
Oh yeah, there was a lot of chatter, and I was sitting there like bite my tongue a little bit because I was like, oh yeah, it was said that there was the parent teacher conference in the beginning of February, and that the teachers were kind of, I mean, they were side eyeing the situation because they were like, well, why are we having a parent teacher conference and we have two out of the three parents ganging up on the other parent who is not the parent that the child lives with? You know, most of the time they're living with Chris and Katie in their household, yet they were blaming Seth and pointing the finger at Seth is what was alluded to, or to the best of my recollection, in the live stream that Justin had spoken with one of the teachers. And so again, like I said, it's going to be a little awkward here, but it's just because again, I just don't believe that Seth can answer a question like that if he's never seen the emails.
see how he acts. You know, whoever raised him should be ashamed.
Okay, let's play that one more time though, because I think that is so spot on. Let's go to right about here.
I have no idea. I mean, parent teacher conferences were normally to update his IEP. That's when we were addressing certain things with teachers about, you know, Sebastian's behavior. What we'd like to, and most of the time when we had IEPs, it's what we would like as parents like to see them work on. Now, I will tell you that their percentage rating is low, and I asked them to raise the percentage rating. I
Oh,
wanted
sorry
him to be
guys.
able
I
to
think I
do the
messed
things
up
that
a
he was
little bit
being
there.
asked.
CP that made the teacher feel uncomfortable.
There we go. Sorry.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
A parent teacher conference. What made the teacher feel so uncomfortable?
I did. I mean, I talked to all the teachers.
During the parent teacher conference is what they're talking about. What made him feel so what made the teacher feel uncomfortable?
And where are they getting that information from?
I don't know.
Me either.
That was just a question that was asked to you.
I think it was in the emails in Justin's live, if I remember correctly. And sorry if I misspeak on that, but I think that's.
So, girl, mom. True that.
I mean,
About the way Chris behaved at the parent teacher, because that's been a big thing. People talking about what he was, how he was acting in the parent teacher conference. That's been a lot of chatter.
well, we all see how he acts. You know, whoever raised him should be ashamed.
Right. I think that's what the email was talking about, was like that they were appalled that they kept on blaming you and never taking responsibility for their own part in it. They just kept trying to like focus on. That's what I remember anyway from that.
I never saw the letter, and I vaguely remember when 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 Justin brought that up. But I mean,
Yeah, girl mom is saying it was the English teacher.
I have no idea. I mean, parent teacher conferences were normally to update his IEP. That's when we were addressing certain things with teachers about, you know, Sebastian's behavior. What we'd like to, and most of the time when we had IEPs, it's what we would like as parents like to see them work on. Now, I will tell you that their percentage rating is low, and I asked them to raise the percentage rating. I wanted him to be able to do the things that he was being asked at like a 90% level instead of, I think it was a 70% that they were working on. And they were like, he's meeting the 70%. And I was like, well, then up the percentage, make it, 90. I want my son to be on the same level with all the other kids.
Yeah, that's completely understandable.
If you guys any more questions, I'll be right back though.
All right, guys. So, basically, Seth is saying that, he doesn't know about the email, but usually the IEP meetings are trying to see where the parents think the children should be. They go over, their progress and all that sort of thing. There is a rating, that or standard that they need to meet. And since Sebastian was hitting that standard, Seth wanted him to be more challenged. A lot of times too, kids will get bored if they're not challenged in school, and that's, sometimes where they'll get in trouble. Hey, Deborah Dixon. Deborah Dixon says, yes, lady, I agree. How do we know if the information is accurate from the other channels? A lot of times it just accepted and accurate. Lots of times it's just accepted as accurate without knowing the real facts. It's a problem, in my opinion. Yeah, well, it's just so it's just kind of weird because, you know, if Seth never saw the email, then he wouldn't be able to verify any of that. But then it's also hard to tell. I mean, I do consider the source for a lot of things. I want to say Justin showed something with like an email. I don't know if he actually showed the email. It's so difficult, because these people want to, hide these things and they know information. And in this case, I can't say that I blame them completely for that either because, we have a corrupt system that we're dealing with. And so they could have gone to the police and said, look, this is horrible. This is going on. I don't know what the heck is happening here, but, something's wrong. And then, nobody took them seriously. And so they just decided, you know, to not bring it up again. Oh, and thank you, my PTSD. I must have missed it there. So thank you so much for the jewels. That's so sweet. CP and KP should be cuffed for excuse me, CP and KP should be cuffed for abuse, no accountability. Yeah, and I don't understand that part either, Janet. I hope that comes sooner rather than later. Gail says the only problem with CP and KP wanted to micromanage Sebastian, whereas Seth treated him like a young man and allowed him to think and make decisions. Yeah, he definitely seemed to involve Sebastian in the decision making process rather than telling him what to do. And I think as children get older, that is a better approach to things, right? Because otherwise, they'll get frustrated, right? Because they're asserting their independence and they're trying to find their own way. And if you never let them have a say so, it can cause a lot of issues, you know. Even if it's not outward, you know, kids do internalize things as well. So, you know, Sebastian was just dealing with such a great deal of horror in that house, you know, on top of the fact that, you know, everybody has, you know, expectations of him that he's trying to meet at school. That can be a lot of pressure on him. You know, hey Rosebud. Rosebud says, I pulled my son out of a brick and mortar and went virtual because instead of achieving his goals, they kept changing them, never then reaching any goals. Oh, yeah. It was very frustrating. He graduated with honors. Yes, that's amazing, Rosebud. I love hearing that. And, you know, as parents, it's really up to us to advocate for our children. Nobody else can do it, right? Nobody else has that power to do it. And, you know, when the parents choose not to, that's when you see a lot of issues. But you can be successful when you go in there and you're like, hey, I think this would be better for my child and I'm choosing a better option. And I'm glad you did because it's really important, you know. And some people do so well at virtual learning. And during viral school, he still had the IEP and they still made goals and he made each goal. Yeah, and I mean, some kids are just better working independently like that. And also, some of the programs that they offer in different areas are, you know, not what they're offering in the brick and mortar school or, you know, traditional school setting. So it's really about finding what's going to be the best fit because, especially if they're you know, they're keeping a low expectation because that child's meeting that expectation. That's not always a good thing, right? Like they might need to be a little bit more challenged in things and add a little bit more. Don't overwhelm them, but add things. You know, I would have said let's try to hit 85% then, you know, or something like that. um you know, it's just it's about what the parents know that the child can do. And, you know, standing up for that is very difficult to do. Deborah Dixon says Justin has said that he actually spoke to some of the teachers or a teacher apparently. Yeah, that's what I remember him saying. And, you know, I think he did. And Girl Mom is also like a big part of Justin's team too. So I'm guessing, but I wish they would have given that information to Seth. You know, but Alicia Hotwell says they had my son's goal at 40%, and I made them raise it to 80%, and he is meeting or exceeding the expectations now. Lower percentage is less work for the teachers. See, exactly, and that's a great way to put it. That's what I was trying to say exactly. Thank you, Alicia, for that. And you know, I also believe I'm a big believer of you as parents knowing what your children are capable of, you know, most definitely, and fighting for that, you know. So, Rosebud says, my grandson is on the spectrum as well, high functioning, but brick and mortar is not the right choice for him. He's going virtual this year. Oh, that's great. That's great to hear. I'm glad they have the programs available too, because again, people learn differently and some people thrive in different environments depending. Um, it was, except living in Oklahoma is like on the surface of the sun. I hope you had a good day. It's been so hot, you guys. It's been so hot. It's crazy. And I still like I don't know what is going on, but like I'm still a little sniffly. It's something in the air or something. I don't know what the heck it is, but it's driving me nuts. Along with the heat. So yeah, exactly, the real me too. And that's the issue I think that the teacher was having, was that like they were kind of uncomfortable and awkward because they were like, why are these parents blaming the one parent? Like that's got to be weird to a teacher. And I think that's probably the vibe that was coming off. Although I'm not 100%, of course I didn't see the exactly what was said or talk to the teacher, but you know, that's my best guess. So no, public schools are not like they used to be. The real me too. That's so true. I saw so many kids that wanted so much more, and they would often sit with me and my friends in open study hall. or do our homework with us. Was it fair to them? Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, not every kid is going to learn the same, so it's just hot and smoky, right, Bo? Oh my gosh, the smoke. Yes. Goodness sakes. Yeah, and he liked the FFA, and all of that. Yeah, there were things that Sebastian liked in all aspects. I think Sebastian enjoyed learning new things. He's incredibly smart. Um, Deborah Dixon says, "Anyway, lady, I find you truly faithful and caring, and not anyway praising oneself. You are always perfectly respectful to everyone in your chat, family, friends, and yourself." Aw, that's so sweet. Thank you, Deborah. Aw, that just means so much to me. Thank you very much. Yeah, Witchy, I'm beginning to get onto that. I'm thinking, what are we breathing in from all of this bombing and stuff? I'm wondering. It's like they're bringing it on the ships, and gosh, because yeah, I'll be like sneezing and stuff, and then like right before I went on, I'm like, why am I all stuffy? And it's weird. It comes and goes. I'm like, either I have walking COVID and don't know about it, or something is up. I'm just glad I don't feel like crap, because that was horrible. Um, oh my God, leprosy in Florida. Oh my God. Oh Lord. No, I'm going to have to go see if my daughter will let me stay with her. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. She'll be like, Mom, don't go that far. She's got too many rules at her house, by the way. Did I tell you guys that? She's got a lot of rules at her house. I'm like, I can't deal with all of this. She's like, this is my house. I'm like, oh, okay. Oh my goodness, she's too funny. I'm just waiting for her to land too, because I was like, I thought you guys were gonna land, and I'm just hoping they make it, because I know they got, when you got tickets to a concert. Oh, okay. Well, her location changed and it is in Mexico now. Oh my God, that makes me so nervous. Oh, I'm sick over that. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to get over it. So, Lori says, oh, hell no. From the armadillos. I did hear about that in Missouri. My PTSD and the armadillos there, like, they're all over the place, especially at night. Those little creepers, those, those mother heifers. I'm trying to find ways not to swear. So those mother heifers over there, they're they're full of leprosy. They're creepy little things too. Like, it's not something that you would ever want to touch. So I don't know anybody would, but um, all right. So here we go with some more questions. I think we're having like a little bit of a panel discussion right now, though. I'm looking through to see.
Or you three ladies communicate.
Yeah, I'm just reading through some of these too as well. Yeah, he said also, I see that question. I don't know where it just went, but we done asked him that question, what Chris was wearing when he come in, and he don't remember, because he was concentrating
Hey,
on
lover girl.
everything that was going on. But I did follow up with, if anybody didn't hear us just coming in, I followed up with, was Chris playing with the little dogs in the floor? Because that's what he told me on my interview. And he said no, he was never playing with the dogs that he saw while he was there the entire time. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question. I know a lot of people are worried about that. I saw in Hindsight's live, excuse me, her short, and I never noticed it before. But when Chris is asked about where he was, he says, "I was in, Memphis." Is his exact words. But he started scratching at his forearms, and I don't know, when things are healing up, and that interview was like 8 days in to his
Yeah.
to Sebastian's disappearance. Yeah, like, how it kind of gets itchy when you have like scratches or a scab. But I
Yeah.
never noticed that he was itching like that, so it stood out to me.
Yeah. Well, I was just wondering if he wore long sleeves to cover it up, so in case if the police was there, they would notice the, you know, whatever marks was on there. Let me just put it like that, so they wouldn't
Hmm.
question him. You know what I'm saying? If they
Oh
thought
yeah.
Sebastian was a runaway, so that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, and Rosebud says it's interesting that he acknowledged the marks on his arm in your
Well,
interview.
yeah, he didn't really have a choice. He even said I stumped him with that question. He said something to the effect, I didn't think you could stump me, but with that one you actually did, or something to that effect.
So
Right.
cocky. Oh yeah. And I know a lot of people talk about the nudging when Chris and Katie were interviewed by Holly Thompson.
Yeah,
Yeah, that girl from Bama says, I'm curious why Katie would nudge him with her elbow during that, and I think that's a really hard one. That would just be purely speculative, but I know a lot of people have talked about that or asked.
right.
So yeah, that's that's interesting. Um,
Yeah. So Spirit Mandy said till he met Smiley. Honey, I didn't know what was gonna fall out of my mouth that night. I still look back at it and go, Lord, honey.
it's interesting though because I forgot that's why he flew up and had you go live. Because I was trying to think back and remember why that was. I knew it was an impromptu kind of thing, and that it was because of that the question about SSI.
Yeah, because I mean, listen, I was on Justin's with him, Josh, and Trevor Lee, and it was actually Katie, I believe, that come in there, or Chris undercut. I don't even know, but it was Katie's. And listen, anything's liable to fly out of my mouth, but that was something that kept weighing on my mind. And they were all like, "I can't believe you asked that question." I mean, it was like I just blankly asked. I'm just like, I hope you stop the Social Security check. And the next thing
Right. Well, I
I
mean,
was
I think it's
summoned over, and I'm like, oh crap, I done did it now. That's what I was
yes.
thinking, honestly.
Well, it's a valid question because we always know that money can be a big motive, right? So, I
Yeah.
mean, I think that's fair to ask something like that because you just never know.
Mandy said, Smiley don't care. I don't care. Listen, sometimes I'm surprised at what flies out of my mouth. I'm going to be honest with y'all, to be, frank with you. But yeah.
No, I respect that so much.
Did we
Uh,
lose Jen?
yes, Jen just fell off.
She fell off.
Yeah, she just fell.
Did
One
she need a
minute she
rope?
was here, the next she wasn't. I don't know.
Seth, quit lying. You kicked her off.
I
Right.
did not.
Smiley.
Are you trying to tell us something? I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
I sorry. Nature called. I had to go. My bad. All right.
That's the coffee talking, right? That's the kicking in.
I don't think it was the coffee. I think it's.
Lolo, I don't like that name.
I would say that it was probably more along the lines of the last time I ate. You know,
That's funny. I know there was another question too that somebody was just asking. Oh, sorry. Oh, there goes Django. He's like a
Not
siren.
mine this time. Not mine.
I know that's Django. He heard somebody pulling in the driveway, I think, and now he's like, wait a minute.
oh,
Sometimes y'all be
yeah.
thinking I'm killing my dogs if somebody's pulling in a driveway.
Yeah,
That's
that's
what
what
it
he
sounds
sounds like.
like.
Somebody's hurting him, but it's just because he's excited.
Yeah. I
Aw, thank you guys. I'm glad you like the dragons in the background. Trishy helped me with that. I thought that was so cool. Oh, good night, the real me too. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you were able to watch a little bit too. I hope you have a great day with your grandson too. Yes, they like to get up early, right? It's like they're ready. It's like, where do you get all that energy? I need some coffee first.
Have
uh,
one, it's my son's dog, and he like, oh my God, it's like, really?
Yes,
Please, Seth.
Cassie,
Okay.
I was on his emergency contact list.
yep,
Okay.
that's the one.
Wow. Juju, I think I just answered that 3 times. Seth has answered it 3 times. Not to be rude, but he don't know. I can let him answer now. Can
What?
you answer that? Did Chris have on long sleeves when he
I
came home?
don't remember.
Okay. See, it wasn't just Smiley saying that. I wasn't answering for nobody. I asked the question.
It is a good question. It'd be hard to remember everything like that, every detail because what a stressful situation. I mean, I
Yeah,
don't even know if I would be able to. Yeah, and I have a good memory, but.
yeah.
And Vanilla Bean was asking, has anybody, like, since the lawsuit's been filed, has anybody been able to be reached for a comment? And I haven't heard anything, but you know, I think everybody's been saying they can't speak on open litigation.
Yep, that's pretty much what the agencies are saying.
That's what they say every single time. Yeah,
Though,
yeah, that's typical.
though, I think it's kind of interesting because I did the interviews a week before the paperwork was filed.
Oh, that's right. I know it's TV time, right? It's the magic of TV because you do the interview and they don't air it until whenever they air it.
Yep, they did not air it until after it was filed.
Right. And then, so that means what Seth is saying is that uh, you know, people were declining interviews, right, about the subject before the litigation was filed. So because the interview was done prior to that, and so they did try to reach out for comment, but it was declined. So I thought that was interesting too.
So, kind of makes me wonder how they knew there was going to be open litigation before it was filed.
Mm.
I'm looking to see if I have, like, a fly on the wall here.
go go do some old fashioned police work and check your lampshades and the
Have any? Don't keep
win-
lampshades around, okay? People like
win-
stuff on
window
the.
seals.
I've got cameras everywhere, so you know. But yeah, I want to see what they're going to do. I mean, I'm hoping for the best from the filing. I'm hoping that it opens up some more information that can lead me to finding Sebastian.
Right. I think that's another thing that's important in the filing too. Like, everything else aside, but that's what you're really asking for in both filings is to get a new investigation, find Sebastian.
That's it's the only goal is to find Sebastian. I want them to do their job and I want them to find my son. It's been 2.5 years. If the county where he went missing isn't even, if those agencies aren't informing the public that the child is still missing, and you got people going around to local businesses and telling them that the child's been found, you could take the flyer down. I mean, let use your own deductive reasoning. That doesn't make sense. I mean, I've
No, it
been told
doesn't.
some things here in Clarksville, hey, it's been over 2 years. We're not going to keep the flyer up anymore. If you haven't found him, he's not going to be found. Like any parent ever wants to hear that about their missing child. But
Mm-mm.
again, company policy versus, mom and pop store that puts it up because they have kids, they understand, but companies don't. Companies only care about
Mhm.
the income that they're bringing in. They don't, you know, they're not too many corporate policies for their company, and their locations are in communities where they don't know what's going on in their community. That's a gap that needs to be bridged, but it's not going to be bridged. Corporations don't think about that.
No, they don't, unfortunately. They don't. Seth, do you know? I know there's a lot of talk about the construction area. Has there been any talk like lately or maybe even ever about ground penetrating radar near the construction site? Like, was that used at all?
No, the only time that Jennifer said she's tired and she's going to sleep.
Good night, Jen.
Good night, Jen.
I'm pretty sure she's going to be upset because I used her full name.
Haha, she's in trouble then. That's what I
She's
think.
not in trouble.
My whole name.
It's when you hear your first, your middle, and your last name that's when you know that you're in trouble.
Deep shit is what that means to me. See, and I said shit and not the other. See, I'm trying.
Yeah, you're in deep, deep, deep doo doo when you hear all of your names.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's either that or it's an emergency. But it's like, I mean, I hardly ever called Sebastian Sebastian. I have my own little nicknames for him, which he never liked. He didn't like it when I call him my Padawan or my mini me or any of that sort of stuff. He was just like, Dad, that is not my name. My name is Sebastian. And I'm like, yeah. All right, Sebastian Wayne.
What made Sebastian laugh the most?
Great
Oh, he's
question.
extremely ticklish. Extremely, extremely ticklish. Like on an average morning, like say a Monday morning, I've had him all weekend, and school is obviously on Monday. I'd wake him up in the morning knowing that I have to drive him from here all the way down to beach, and of course he's going to want to ride the school bus. So, and I'm going to get him back to his mom's house before school, and I would just go in there and start tickling the ever living daylights out of him until I would tickle him until I heard I've got to pee. At which point time, all right, there's the bathroom's open, and that was it. From there, it's like, hey, use the bathroom. What do you want for breakfast?
Hey, Shadow. Good to see you, Poppy Love. Welcome in, guys. And, I just think this part's really cute. Again, just something that, Seth misses about not being able to be with his son. It's just so heartbreaking, but it also is, a silver lining in what we were talking about up here. So, um, yeah, it's a real shame. Um, that Seth is missing his son. Oh my goodness, I hate being tickled. So I'm like,
I do too. That's the worst
you do,
thing.
Smiley. I know, I hate it. I'm like, don't do it. But my dad used to tickle too,
But you
So
could
he'd be
be
like,
so
oh, I'm
mad.
like, stop.
Hey, listen, you may not like it, Sebastian. He. It's not that he didn't like it, because he never told me that he didn't like it. But the fact is that there's nothing better in this world and hearing Sebastian giggle uncontrollably.
Yes.
Exactly.
And
That's
I
why my
mean,
dad liked to do it. Of course, he liked to, hear me laugh.
the fact is that we all know that some people are just not morning people and don't want to get up in
Yep.
the morning. And we all know that if you have kids, they give you that stink eye in the morning when you're trying to wake them up because they don't want to get up. And it was the best way to put him in a good mood. I just tickle the living daylights out of him until I gotta pee. Okay, go pee. You know.
Aw.
Yeah. Oh.
Then from there, it's he goes to use the bathroom, and I start, hey, what do you want for breakfast this morning? Do you want eggs? You want eggs and toast, oatmeal? I mean, talk to me. What do you want? And start making breakfast while he's using the bathroom, washing his face, brushing his teeth, whatever he's going to do. Get dressed for, and it was almost like it was a routine because I did it all the time. In California, when it was time for him to get up for school, just tickle him until he said he had to pee. Well,
It's a
go.
dad thing. It's
It
definitely
is.
a dad thing because my mom wasn't the one to do that. It was always my dad. He's like, yeah, I'm like,
Oh,
stop. Especially when I got older, then I'm like, ah, you know, drop me
well,
off down the block, pretend
yeah.
I'm.
I don't want to see anywhere with my parents. Dropping on the moon. I'll hitch from here to get to school. You know,
Yes, exactly.
Oh.
but it was just I felt to me it was always it was the way that I like to wake him up because I got to hear the best thing in the world and I got to see the smile on his face and it kind of it puts him in a better mood. You wake up laughing and all that stuff and then it's time to eat some food and get ready for school.
Aw, see, that's so cute. It's so nice to hear about that, and it's just something I think a lot of people can relate to. Dad's a dad thing. Hey, Shauna, you're welcome, Poppy Love. Thank you so much for always being here to listen. And it's just so sad. I know that Sebastian misses his dad. I know he misses his mom. You know, it's been far too long. Um, just so sad.
Yeah.
And I would do it in California before school. Hey, it's time to get up. I don't want to get up. Okay. Okay. Well, there's ways around that I don't want to get up. What's Katie doesn't like to be tickled either. Um, she actually gets very, very angry and mean when you do that to her. And I learned, obviously, but Sebastian found it hilarious that that his mom was ticklish. But
Aw.
she was adamant about that. He would go up to tickle her feet, and don't you touch me.
Oh, my feet are the worst. That's where my dad would always tickle my feet, and I can't stand people even touching my feet. So then I'm like, don't, and I probably, I feel that. I feel that from Katie. It's like, don't touch it. Don't touch my feet. Oh,
There's
that's funny though, because kids do that though. They like go up there, like, I'm gonna get her, you know what I mean, type thing. I'm gonna get mom.
yeah,
So
we're
what?
still live, Christy Smith.
Hey,
All
Christy.
right, Mr. Rooster, I appreciate you coming in.
Hey, Christy, Mr. Rooster.
So what would you say to families who unfortunately have to just start this journey and is going through this?
Great question.
There's a lot that could be said. but it's you're not prepared. You'll never be prepared mentally. Um, I recommend several notebooks, pens, because you're going to be writing down a lot of information. You're going to, hope that you have a strong foundation within your relationship with your spouse, or the child's other parent. And I'd say I hope you have a strong foundation with God.
Is there anything you wish you would have done different or changed as far as
Oh,
this whole?
there's a lot, but there's not a rule book for this. I mean, there are some creators that I wish I had never even went up on their panel. Would I change what I did? Not knowing what I was doing? You know, no, no. I mean, there's some creators that I wish I wasn't associated with at the beginning, but the fact is that social media is one of the easiest ways to get out that somebody is missing.
Right.
And YouTube, Facebook, X, I mean, they all have to be utilized for the proper purpose.
What are some of the good resources that you came across or that you found to be helpful to you that maybe somebody would? I hate that anybody's in that situation, but I think Smiley's got a good question there.
I mean, your best resource, your child went missing. So you should be able to rely on the agencies involved. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to rely on them because as soon as I found out about the DCS records, then I knew that they had already been involved and they didn't do anything. And then,
Yeah, this is terrible right here. DCS involvement, they didn't do anything, and love, Mama Love. I think that's a great memory too, that Seth has on his phone of Sebastian leaving those voicemails. Um, Sebastian's just such a sweetheart. Lori says she likes that one too. Hey, Heather Marie, good to see you. Welcome in. Thanks for being here. It's just so sad, just so sad. um no, they're good questions. People had great questions. I'm excited to see what people are going to ask tomorrow.
knowing that they didn't do anything, I lost faith. I lost faith I had no good faith, no goodwill when it came to them. I mean, they didn't like the fact that I spoke condescendingly about them and called out their egos and stuff like that. If that makes a person stop doing it, then they shouldn't be in that type of position, anyways. It shouldn't matter if you like a person or not. The child is missing, and the child is all that matters.
Yeah, I agree.
I can't really. I mean, there's EquiSearch was in it. We had Cajun Navy in it. You know, but there's so many outside variables. Like Cajun Navy didn't start getting the threats until JLR decided to go on his platform. and tell everybody that it's the fake Cajun Navy and it's not the real Cajun Navy.
Mm.
That's where people are wrong. That's not using your platform to help find a child.
Yeah, that just creates a lot of confusion, and I think that sometimes people don't realize like that there's trolls that do those things, like purposely come into a chat, derail the conversation, or purposely try to derail efforts. Like, at the end of the day,
Listen,
they're boots on the ground. I mean, if there's two United Cajun Navies, I mean, who
that,
cares?
and there's not
I'm
that's
just saying, yeah. Sorry.
Froggy. I was on news medias. I was on what? I was on there with. I did local news. I did national news. What it's News Nation. There was articles that were posted in the newspapers. I mean, I used everything that I had that was available to me to try to get it out. But you're telling me that bigger news agencies to be notified. You know, if I do it, I mean, I know that it was clear on news channels in California. But the fact is that NBC, CBS, you know, a lot of them don't even touch it unless it's going to bring, unless they're going to get a lot of watch hours because they're working off an algorithm too. And we all know that mainstream media is about doing what's best for them, not about what's doing best for, you know, the people. I don't know what more to say about that. I mean, I want everybody to know that what Sebastian looks like and that he's missing so that if anybody can see him, you know, yeah, I've been News Nation, Nancy Grace. I mean, anybody that wanted to do an interview with me, I did an interview with.
Yeah, I think that's really difficult to reconcile, and I see a lot of things in the
Yeah,
chat,
I was on Court TV. I was on Vinnie Politins. I mean,
Mhm. Yeah.
Froggy, the worst part is that there's still people that don't know that my son is missing in 2.5 years.
The
Oh,
sad part, yeah, and the sad part is right there in Sumner County, some people don't even know he's missing, and that's the sad part. And maybe, in my opinion, if his own mother would get out and put up and try, the people that need to know would know. And the sad part is, some people there even think he's been found. How sad is that?
well, you know,
Very.
I tell you what, after the Cajun Navy put out, you know, after they put out that stuff on Facebook or wherever it was at, it was just like they didn't know what I knew from the DCS reports, but they were right. They're right when they say there's people in law enforcement that don't want my son found because their actions speak louder than their words. And, two birds flying over at me while I'm protesting the fact that they're not doing anything.
Yeah.
And there's so much
Exactly.
false information. I mean, it. You know how many times I've had to, you know how many times I've attempted to correct people and yet they don't want to listen to what I'm saying. And if you don't want to listen to what I'm saying, at least I hope that you listen that my son's not found and that he's still missing.
Well, it's so difficult because, we have seen this play out, and it's horrible. In my opinion, if anybody was going through this, they wouldn't want that on top of it. But yet we still see a lot of people out there spreading a lot of, not only misinformation, but very strange information. Things that, don't don't even make sense, half of the things, but also that are just so disparaging. um I don't understand why, but yet we do see it, all the time, um in not just Sebastian's case, but in many of these cases too. um so it's very unfortunate, um to see that. Hey, Gigi, good to see you. Thank you for being here.
True.
Well, and
And
you've said it over and over too, that there's no sides. It's about Sebastian. It's Team Sebastian, Sebastian's army. I mean, how many times can you just continue to reiterate the same thing? If it's not sinking in, then there's, I mean, it's well, it's Jenny Machete says it's sad and frustrating.
it is. Mandy wants to know, do we know if Chris was being honest about the dogs hitting by the dam like he told Nerdy Addict?
Say that again, Smiley. My bad.
That's okay. Do we know if Chris was being honest about the dogs hitting by the dam like he told Nerdy Addict?
If Chris was breathing, I'd check to make sure that he's actually breathing. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't trust that man. And calling him a man is actually a disservice to actual men in the world.
So you haven't heard anything about the dogs hitting over at the dam?
No.
Okay.
No, he wasn't alone when he left to go get his camper. That's right, Chris. I know you weren't alone. I know who was in your truck. Now you got to wonder who in your truck actually talked to me.
Ooh.
And I'll tell you, it wasn't your mama. She was in your truck too. And no, I don't know where your mother was Sunday. I asked about Monday morning. I really just
Exactly.
despise you, Chris. Your best bet is to dig yourself a hole and cover it up with dog shit.
Now, isn't the dam as far away? Mr. E is saying the dam's far away and close to the rudder. So I thought it was like 7 miles away from the house, and to be barefoot and get all the way over there, and it wouldn't.
Don't believe my son. My son would. It's just too many things that I know about my son, and their stories don't mix.
Right. I mean, none of it makes any sense, and that's why we're all like, wait a minute. And there's so much speculation on top of the fact that law enforcement isn't being transparent. They're not coming out and making public statements to allow for people to refer back to their statements. That's what really makes it difficult. And then to confuse the situation, I still don't understand why Chris would go to someone who's never covered Sebastian's case before and tell them that type of information. I'm confused about that as well. But and then nobody would have saw him on camera. Exactly, Mr. E. Yeah, no one would have. No, I mean, I think people would. Excuse me. I think people would see him on camera, but yet we don't have any evidence of that.
Yeah, there's no video proof that Sebastian ever left that neighborhood. And what people don't No. Where my mind goes is there's no video evidence he ever left the neighborhood. Then this means there's a possibility that he is still in that neighborhood. I mean, it makes sense. No
Okay. Here, let me let
video
Seth finish.
evidence of
Sorry.
him leaving the neighborhood. Means he could still be in one of those houses in that neighborhood. But then we go one step further with, what has been told to us, which at this point in time, we got to think everything that comes from the cops is probably tainted too. But if there's no evidence he ever left the house, where's the evidence that he was in the house? If there was evidence that he was at the house, why didn't Sumner County give me the evidence that he was in the house as proof of life? Chris was so upset that I asked for proof of life. I'm sorry, somebody goes missing is the first thing I asked for. Proof of life. Where was the last place he was seen? And you wonder why you failed your psych test, Chris? You don't even know the first policy when it comes to law enforcement. Thank God that you are not in Albuquerque working on the police department there. Thank God you failed your psych exam.
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
If people don't realize that, Chris told me he failed his psych exam when he attempted to go and be part of the Albuquerque PD, which he also told me he's got friends on the Albuquerque PD. And just remember that Nino lives in that area. So he has friends in law enforcement that like to do his little dirty work. I know things, Chris. And when I speak facts. There's no in my opinion on this shit. Excuse my language. Just aggravated.
Well, it is very aggravating, especially knowing everything. No, it's just not okay. And a lot of the things that have come out that have been said have been proven to be lies, on top of the fact that we're supposed to all apologize and eat humble pie. Yeah, of course.
I'm sorry, Chris. Would you like some ranch on your humble pie? Because you can't have my ranch. I wouldn't give you ketchup from a McDonald's ketchup packet from 1980. I mean, yeah, I'm mad. Yeah, I'm aggravated. My kid's missing. People are. I'm finding people aren't doing their job. If people aren't doing their job, what are they doing? Why was an assistant DA involved with my son, and yet I was never notified? Why did my son go missing and Sumner County never called Davidson County and speak to my captain and let my captain know? Why did they keep me out of the loop on everything that was going on with my son?
Shameful. I think it was because they were covering their behinds, because they knew that they were involved and they knew the family already, and it would have looked poorly on them because they didn't do anything since 2022, is my opinion. Reading over the filing and everything. Hey guys, sorry, I was listening and I was looking for a place to stop, and I just noticed that you guys are all coming in. So welcome in, guys. Hey, Justice for Noog. Hey, Joni. No way would that child leave without shoes in the cold. I agree with that. I agree. Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad to see Seth speaking too. Justice for Noog. Yeah, it's crazy. Hey, NorCal Gal. Oh, really? You have a flight delayed too today? What's with the airports acting up today? My goodness. Hey, Jilly, good to see you. Mr. E, hope you and the family are doing well. You have been in our thoughts and constant prayers. Aw, thank you, NorCal SoGal. That's so sweet of you. Absolutely. We love the E family here. Hey, Catherine, good to see you. Yes, say it loud and proud to those in the bushes. Can we replay it? Pretty please. Which one? Which part did you want? You want me to play the CP the CP rant again? I'm telling you, he really gets under people's skin. And there was a lot of people in there. Tomorrow we're just gonna have to be quick draw with our wrenches. Poppy Love says, has the FBI sent Sebastian's picture and information out to all the group home places around the country, to every one of the places, as part of what they do to help find a missing child? If not, why? I wish they would, Poppy Love. And, you know, um, I'm kind of working on trying to get some awareness campaigns. We had one, and then we had someone come in and just pretty much ruin it. Which I'm freaking pissed about it, but there's nothing I can do once somebody does something stupid, right? I can't control what other people are going to do, and I certainly can't stop them from being stupid. Um, but I agree with you. I don't know why, and they really should. They really, really should. Hey, Nisi Tincture, in my opinion, Katie is under a lot of pressure. I think she will break soon. I think she is under a lot of pressure. I do. And I'm hoping for that. I'm hoping for that pressure to keep building until it pops, right? Because we have a lot that we can do as the public to put pressure on. And, I'm not talking about doing anything, irrational, or, harassing or stalking any of these people, right? But it's just the fact of putting out awareness is pressure on Katie, because Katie knows and they don't want us talking about it. And so the more that we talk about it, the more pressure that we're applying inadvertently. It's just part of it, and it's the best way that we can do it. And kill them with kindness, right? Show them love is going to win over in this situation, as it always does. I'm a disability support worker, and there's absolutely no way any of my clients would leave home without shoes. Yeah, thank you, Sonia Finnegan, for being here. And I think that's so important to recognize. I don't think Sebastian would have left without his shoes on, because he has the sensory issues, right? He had issues with fire ants. He's not going to do that, right? He's uses his shoes. And thank you so much for all that you do, for being a disability support worker, and we appreciate you. That's the hardest part about all of this, is that we're having to go up against law enforcement, go up against Department of Children's Services, right? And that's the last thing that we want to do. Um, in a situation like this, we want to be able to support people who are helping kids out, who are taking kids out of horrible situations. It's unbelievable. But I agree. I think that Sebastian would have never left without his shoes. And I just think the whole thing is very fishy. You know, the abuse alone should have set off, big alarm bells, and they should have done so much more. Ah, that's so awesome. Well, great, NorCal. So, yeah, I hope you have a safe and happy trip. That's so wonderful. It sucks, Lori, because, and I know that you guys are supporters of, law enforcement. I mean, we would have to be in true crime, right? I mean, those are our heroes in the situation, and when I get a little bit down on law enforcement, I always go watch Grady Judd, because in my opinion, the way that he handles himself and the officers is the way that it always should be. Unfortunately, again, it's so hard to break down the systematic corruption and things like that. It just runs so deep. So, Sonia, I love that. I love that so much. She says, I love my job and my clients. Yeah, it takes a really special person. That's another thing that people really don't understand. And that's why I never want to disparage the good workers, and sometimes it's beyond their control. And sometimes they see things and they're whistleblowers and they're the ones that are, showing the problems, right? The cracks in the system. And so, yeah, I mean, I just love that you love your job and doing the right thing for the kids and your clients. Um, yeah, well, it does. It does. Money talks, and it is about following the money a lot of the times. It really is my PTSD.
I think it's normal to be upset. I don't understand why, Katie didn't call you as his father herself. And I can understand why you're extremely upset. And that's just my opinion. Has nothing to do with my feelings towards her or anything else, but I can certainly understand why you're upset. You have every right to be, and I think you've been pretty calm through all this, but you do need to stay calm, you know, and you need to remember that you're the only thing Sebastian's got, so you really need to stay calm and focus
Well said,
right
Smiley.
now, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and
So, I'm
oh,
sorry, go
sorry.
ahead,
Go ahead.
ladies.
No, go
Hey,
ahead, Smiley. Go ahead, Smiley.
yeah, somebody just shot me another thing and said Ellie never showed you digital evidence that maybe Sebastian was on his switch after 7 p.m. to 9, or he went to bed, or text, or called anyone before bed.
Nope.
Hmm.
I want to know why law enforcement still has my son's switch. He didn't have an Nintendo account, so he had no access to speak to anybody, and he wasn't at my house when he went missing. I want to know why law enforcement didn't go in and take electronics from their house until I was literally went to go pick up the electronics that they were letting me have back from my house.
That is so strange. That is so strange that they. It's almost like they treated your house like Sebastian went missing from your house because they took several things from your house that you wouldn't expect. I mean, I guess take it from everywhere, but like a lot of people were asking about the cars being well, I shouldn't say cars. Chris's truck being searched, Katie's SUV being searched, and then Katie's work van being searched. And I don't know if we have clarification on that or
I
not.
don't. I have
Hmm.
no clarification because I don't know. I know that they didn't look through mine.
Yeah, see, and that should never happen, guys. So I'm glad that we got some clarification on the fact that there is no clarification, right? Did they check the vehicles? If they didn't, they should have, right? There's missing camera equipment from their house, and you didn't check her work vehicle that also, carries that same equipment, right? We know that she uses Brink's home security because when Heather Cohen, the PI, came there, she was greeted by Katie's boss, and Katie's coworker was also there, and they were upgrading their camera system. So we know that they use Brinks. Why was nothing checked in the van? That would have probably held some of the key information, unless those cameras were tossed in the trash can, you know, days before. We just don't know. I mean, that's something that is, going to be speculated upon. And rightfully so. It is also mentioned in the lawsuit. And we finally have the news, the mainstream media news saying, look, Katie works for Brinks and their cameras were not working that night. Their cameras were not there. Justice for Nuke says CPS is about to get a lawsuit from me. I had an event with a foster child and his father, and nobody has checked up after numerous calls. Oh no. Oh gosh, Justice for Nuke, that's so sad. I'm so sorry. I'm glad he's in your care, but I know that that has to be difficult not being able to get a hold of anybody. What in the world is happening here, you know? Are you kidding? They took all of his stuff from his dad's house but didn't use luminol on the home? I know, Joni, I cannot believe it either. You know, they didn't do a proper investigation here. In my opinion, from everything we know about investigations, they only operated off of the assumption that Sebastian walked off, and that is a direct quote from Sheriff Eric Craddock. And they expected us to accept that. And if we don't accept that, then they're going to flip us off, right? Real mature, you know? So, yeah, as they should be, as they should be. Yeah, that is so sad. Oh my goodness, I'll be praying for you guys, Justice for Noog. You know, it's unbelievable how it's happening everywhere with DCS. They need to really get their asses together. And they should, I mean, you know, they should have
Hey,
because
I am 100% down for whatever you're going to do, you can do it. You know, don't hold me separate from what you're doing with them. If you want to put me through everything that you're going to put them through, so be it. You want to come in here with luminol, you want to luminol my truck, you want to bring dogs, I don't care. I want my son found.
absolutely. But here's the weird thing is that it doesn't seem like they investigated anything. Like if they didn't do it anywhere, that's
Discovery.
also weird.
Discovery. I'm
Right.
praying for discovery.
Yeah. I think that's valid. Bo's asking if you saw the clothes from the Texas Roadhouse when you were at their house.
All that stuff was on the front porch outside in bags for law enforcement. That's where they had put it so that they could have the dogs sniff it for scent. Ticks, that's always a possibility. I don't know I don't know how their mind is working. I do know that when somebody was trying to serve me here for a lawsuit in Montgomery County, that Sumner County tried to get me to meet them at the border so they could give me paperwork, as they said. You could call me up on my phone because somebody is literally suing me civilly in another county, and you want to call me up and have me drive and meet you at the border of your county so you could give me paperwork for where I was being served in my own county.
Wow, that is see, and again, that's the hokey pokey, the hokey pokey I talk about, guys. I can't stand that hokey pokey. That's the runaround. That if you've ever had someone give you the runaround, it sounds like our friend Justice Renug is dealing with that. You know, getting that runaround, it is so annoying. You know, I mean, geez, a bunch of mother heifers over there. And hey, Billy, good to see you. So good to see you, Billy B. Yeah, so I mean, it's just ridiculous, you know? And I think he was referring to Texana Fernandez's weird lawsuit that she filed. Um, in my opinion, one of those police was around that night. I feel like CP was home starting shit and a cop knew. I mean, I'm wondering Justice for Nuke because they've been hiding information. No wonder. You know, I'm wondering why this guy Eric Craddock is. I'm only operating off one assumption. Oh, well, why? That makes no sense. Joni says exactly, Seth, but the home he lived in should have been treated as a crime scene. Exactly, Joni. It really should have been. It should have been treated like a crime scene. Nobody should have been able to come in trampling around. They should have collected evidence. They could have, especially with the small area that is carpeted in that home, they could have taken carpet fibers to see if there was anybody, who foreign DNA or anything in there. We're always dropping things like hair and different things like that, right? Um, they didn't do anything, in my opinion. But did you see the clothes in the bag? LOL. He didn't answer that. Yeah, yeah. Oh, I see what you're asking, Bo. Okay, exactly. Where you were saying, did he actually see the clothes? Or yeah, I know what you're saying. They need investigated to prove all of their lousy investigation. I agree. There should be an internal affairs investigation into the Sumner County Sheriff's Office. Who's checking their stuff? Lies, lies. Sumner County spews. I agree. They really do need to be investigated. They sure do. Watch the deposition of OJ and his friend for civil suit. It will help clarify the point of doing civil suit to get closer to the truth. Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's a good one. My PTSD, and also when the Petitos went after the dirty laundries, right? Because here's the thing: they had shut down communication completely. However, there is attorney client privilege, and so they were talking to their attorney from very early on and getting advice, right? So the attorney was well aware of the situation, and they were just not talking at all. So very interesting once people can get that, get them locked in to start telling the truth. And that's what Seth is talking about, the discovery. Hey, Detroit, so good to see you. Aw, my daughter and son-in-law dropped by after the Queens of Stone Age and Foo Fighters concert. Oh, cool. It was cool. They stopped by home. Aw, of course. They wanted to see you. That's wonderful. Well, I hope they had a blast. And it just must be concert going time right now, right? Aw, that's so fun. Like I thought was 3 a.m. Light was a cop helping them search for him in the night. Well, it wasn't. Yeah. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Oh, I missed your comment above. I'm sorry. It says, I say that because when I got home from work, I saw the video of those lights. I thought those lights were a cop helping them look for him. Right, the 3 a.m. lights. Well, I mean, they were saying that he went missing and was last seen in the area of Stafford Court. So I understand why you would think that. Yes, that is such a lovely surprise. Oh, I'm so glad they stopped over. That is very cool. And I hope they had a blast.
I mean, what kind of BS is that? I mean, the lawsuit had nothing to do with Sumner County. The fact is that Fernando the Bull from Texas
There we go.
literally was doing whatever Chris wanted done. That's how a person in Texas was able to get Sumner County paperwork for me being served in Montgomery County for a civil lawsuit.
Yeah. That's again, it's just it almost doesn't seem like that could be real. We know it is, but it's just so unreal that it's like unfathomable, in my opinion.
Sebastian, if you get to see this, my phone number is still the same. Please call me. Please call me so I can come get you. Even if you don't want me to come get you, call me so I know that you're safe. That you're healthy. You're alive. Call me. If you need some money, call me. Just call me. I just want to know that you're okay. Just want to know that you're okay, son. All right, I've been on this for 2 hours too long. We've
Thank you
been
for
on here
having us up.
yeah, and we all know that we can't be interrupting, Lady Freedom's night court that goes until morning actual court opens.
Oh, I don't care about that. I'm just glad that
Oh, I'm just giving
you've
you
been
a
so
hard.
gracious. I know, but I'm still gonna give you props because you deserve it. You're so gracious to answer questions, especially because it's not easy. Um,
None of this is easy. I just, in the back of my mind, one of the things that keep going through is God wouldn't give you something that He didn't know that you could handle. But even He's sometimes I think He thinks more of me than I think of myself. But God knows us. He knows what we're capable of. He knows what we can do. God wants to see us bloom and blossom to the best of our abilities. And I guess sometimes you just have to, He forces it.
yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and end this. Thank you again, everybody that's here in chat. Thank you for coming up here on panel. Thank you, Jen. Thank you, Betty. Thank you, Lady Freedom. Thank you, Smiley.
Thank you
Of
for inviting
course.
me.
Thank you, all the mods. Thank you, Bo, for sending the questions in for me. Um, I'm going to ask you to do it again because I know we probably didn't get to all the questions in chat. So I do appreciate everybody that's helping. Please pass out flyers. And if you see somebody that looks like it might be Sebastian, call his name. And if he turns around and he says yes or whatnot, 911. 911. Just 911. But let's see if I can do this. Let's see how. Let's see. See if I can do this like I did a minute ago, like 3 hours ago. Probably not. I'm working on it. Give me a minute. Here it is. Everybody have a
Still
good
hear your voice on the midnight breeze, like a whisper carried through the autumn trees. Sebastian Wayne Drake, my pride, my boy, my firstborn child, my heart, my joy.
It's been 8 long months since you've been gone, and I'm still out here holding on.
I bow my head and I pray each night, Lord, bring him home, show me a light. Oh Lord, if you're listening, please guide him to me. Wherever he's lost, set his soul free.
I'll wait by the porch, 'neath the moon and the pine, till the day I see his hand in mine.
Even in heartache, my love will remain forever and always, through joy or pain.
The seasons change, but my heart stands still. This house is quiet, but I love him still. I look down the road and call out his name. God help me hold on through this lonesome pain.
If you can hear me, I need your grace. Help me find my voice, show me the way. I'll carry this love through the wind and rain. Lord, help me believe we'll meet again. Oh Lord, if you're listening, please guide him to me. Wherever he's lost, set his soul free.
I'll wait by the porch, 'neath the moon and the pine, till the day I see his hand in mine.
Even in heartache, my love will remain forever and always, through joy and pain. If the stars could carry
My words tonight, they tell him I love him and hold on tight.
Sebastian Wayne Drake, my sweet little son, I'll search till I find you. Our journey's not done. Oh Lord, if you're listening, please guide him to me. Wherever he's lost, set his soul free.
I'll wait by the porch, 'neath the moon and the pine, till the day I see his hand in mine.
Even in heartache, my love will remain forever and always, through joy and pain.
Okay, guys, so that is the song that Seth wrote for Sebastian, and I wanted to play that. It's just such a beautiful song. He did such a great job on that, and thank you guys all for the prayer hands and just all the love that you showed in the chat as well. Do we know if they checked the camper that day? So, Billy, I'm still trying to figure out when exactly Chris went to go get that camper, because it's been said different. It's been said that there's different dates and different times that he went to go pick the camper up. Um, Allegedly, his mom and stepdad went with him, but I'm not 100% sure on who all else or when that was. So I'm still kind of trying to narrow that down. According to Chris, it was like 3 or 4 days after Sebastian went missing. He went down there and he said that he was gone for about 17 hours. Anybody that has a camper like that knows that it's doesn't take long to get everything packed up and on the road. So that's just to the best of my knowledge, but I am trying to kind of pinpoint that down. Um, so because it's still really hazy. You guys are so sweet, and thank you so much all always for the love in the chat. Oh, and thank you also, Rosebud, for the floating hearts. That's so sweet. And then also my PTSD. Thank you guys. Yeah, we just need to bring him home. We need to figure out what the heck has happened here. You know, yeah, it is. It is a tearjerker song. Yeah, Yeah, it's so suspicious. It's very suspicious because we just don't know. Well, here, I'll say this too. We don't even know if it's the same camper. It seems like they could have switched them out at that point. And then also, because why would all of those people need to go with? Um, and then also, I find it interesting because, again, why did they go get the camper if Chris just ended up working back there anyway? And they ended up going back to that campground. So I don't know. I was thinking it could have been Love Mama Love that Danny Guy went with. Um, it seems like they do things all together as a family. And so that's what's, worrying. And I truly believe, Janet, that, Katie holds the key to where Sebastian is. I wish she would just come clean, and it has been so just way too long. Just way too long. Aw, thank you, Billy. I hope we hear Sebastian tell us his story one day soon. Exactly, Lori. I'd like to hear it from Sebastian's point of view, most definitely. Um, you know, I try really hard to, help facilitate that just by what we can, find out. But really, I mean, Sebastian's the one that knows what happened to him and what he went through. Aw, thank you for the jewels, love Mama Love. That's so sweet. Yeah, it's hard. It's just hard to pinpoint that time frame down, but I'm working on it. And I mean, if anything, I guess we could go off of Chris, but I don't know. It's just kind of weird. Also, Cluminati drove past there and their house, and the camper wasn't there. So I want to say it was later that they got the camper, but I'm not 100%. You think so too, Lori? Yeah. Bo says it makes me think that she was talking. It makes me think that she was taking it to Alaska. I don't know. It's confusing now. Well, I mean, we know that you can drive to Alaska. There'd be, it'd be a little bit difficult, but not very. In a pull behind. Yeah, they do. It's an evil tribe. The dragon tribe is coming after the evil tribe. Yes, love, mama, love. It is. It's crazy, and it's not something that should ever happen. It is like a pack of wolves. It is just the way they treat people, also, and it does seem like it was well planned. It does. Sonia Finnegan says, I've often wondered if CP went to bars when he was away for work, if he cheated. Well, I mean, his coworker was talking about how he goes to bars all the time, and, or well, they were at the bar that very night. When he came back from the bar, Chris was there, still parked where he was. He told him to put the effing skirting on. So, Diane Miller says, I keep praying for answers. So frustrating. It is. It is, Diane. Yeah, and I'm glad we're all still praying. That's one thing that we could do. You know, this whole case is all stuffed up. I know it really is, and it's hard because even trying to get a timeline with what we know now versus what we knew then, because it was completely off. I just feel like it's always been scripted. Billy or Bo says Billy. Yes, sure is. So I mean, I don't know. I feel like they had kind of like a more of an open situation going on there, but I could be wrong on that too. Um, Again, I wasn't so focused on that until we realized that Chris Carr was kind of could have been well, I'll just say could have been an integral part in what happened here. So yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, he's hit on all the ladies, Sonia. Sonia says, I get the cheater vibes. Well, he's hit on a lot of ladies, right? Like looking at people's legs, the one lady from Court TV, he was hitting on her, Terry Lynn. Chris is just kind of like you know, that way, I think. So I got you on that, you know. Their tribe may be a feral, their tribe may be feral, but wolves are actually very loyal and protective pack atmosphere. Don't dirty my wolves, witchy. Well, and I mean, I think that wolves are beautiful, but I think just like that, yeah, that mentality, but also the loyalty factor. They do have that loyalty factor, um, but there's good wolves and bad wolves, right? So yeah, but I mean, I do see them working all together. And again, they were all kind of trying to put a narrative out there, which was obviously not true. Lori says sorry, Witchy. So I think that's interesting, too, that they're just so ready to have each other's backs. And, I do think that there's more knowledge. I need to bring out more of the text messages and things like that. Um, I'm probably going to have to do Chris's alibi in a couple of different parts, but some of that alibi does tie into the camper situation. So, yeah, he gives me the yucks too. Well, absolutely, Jilly. Birds of a feather. Birds of a feather for sure. They're gonna flock together. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, guys, I'm gonna hop off of here. I know, um, I wanted to keep these parts like kind of together, right? In terms of what all was said. In this next half, Seth's frustration. Excuse me, in this part 3 episode here, you know, Seth's frustration with Chris Proudfoot is very apparent, right? It's very obvious that Seth has had it with the BS. He just wants his son to be found. And I think that um, it's starting to pour over. But I think what Smiley said is so important, that, Sebastian needs his dad to, remain that constant. And I know he will. And again, let's definitely go over and watch Seth's live. You're so welcome, Lori. Thank you guys all for being here. And, tomorrow it is going to be 7 p.m. Eastern time, right? 6 Central. So definitely join in over there. And his chat is open now, so you guys can show some love and all of that good stuff too. Um, yeah, and we're going to keep on trucking along with what we're doing as well. But yeah, it's going to be another live question and answer session with Seth. And again, it's very kind of him to do that, and to continue to spread awareness for Sebastian. So we will definitely see that happen tomorrow night. And I appreciate you guys all being here, and I can't wait to see you guys over there. And I'm not sure what we will do tomorrow night. It kind of just depends on how things go, but I'm definitely looking forward to seeing you guys all at night court. So yeah, absolutely, Billy. Of course, it's my pleasure to do it. I just hope that we find him soon, because Sebastian definitely deserves justice, and I hate to think of him being out there. Rosebud says, I want Seth to know I post that song as much as I can on X and have my state reps and senators and the presidents attached to it. Oh, that's wonderful, Rosebud. It is such a beautiful song. It is such a beautiful song. And Seth wrote that, about 8 months into Sebastian's disappearance. So it just, it means so much now, more than ever. So, it's just been too long. And thank you, Witchy, for posting Seth's live also. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm so excited, to hear from Seth again. And it's always a good thing to spread awareness about Sebastian, have his name out there. Well, I love you guys all so very, very much, and I will see you all